Hi there. As you know, I'm Alan Middleton from the Schulich Executive Education Centre. And
I'm David Kincaid, founder and managing partner at Level 5 Strategy Group.
we're going to be working together and delivering this program to you. And as you know from the briefings and from Ian's discussion, the goal is not to do a here's what a brand is, you're already there and know this, but to go from good to great. So one of the things we're going to be doing is talking about how we take the brand architecture of both President's Choice and its sub-brands, and also how it works with the different banners and how we take that into the future. So we're going to have a number of ways of tackling the program, but behind it all is a concept. And the concept is brands must be managed as a total system. And the big proponent of this is my friend David.
When you think of a brand, over my 35 years running them, I've often got very confused and very frustrated when I suddenly find myself in a discussion about not the brand and the value it creates, both financially and reputationally, but instead its marketing. Purely its marketing. That is not brand management, that is marketing management. And while marketing plays a very critical role in obviously building out a brand and driving its value and reputation in the market, it is much bigger in terms of how you deliver a promise consistently to create that value in the market. Above the waterline, if you think of an iceberg as a visual analogy, are all of the key elements that you'd expect to see from a brand if you were shopping in one of your fine stores. Its name, its look, its quality, its price, how it's merchandised. It's making a promise to the customer that hopefully creates trial, switching behavior, but ultimately, as marketers, long-term value, loyalty. To create loyalty requires you keeping that promise as a marketer, as the keeper of that asset, consistently. When they take that product home, they go to use it, they use it with other fine products, it has to deliver on its promise. And the requirements below the waterline of that iceberg that are needed in order to keep that promise are varied. Supply chain, supplier relationships, legal, finance, yes, marketing, part of it, product sourcing, product development, all of the myriad of processes that are critical as you put out a wonderful President's Choice product. It's the way we optimize that promise in the market to get the return on that marketing dollar by making sure that when they do interact with our brand, they are getting that value. That's what Alan and I want to spend some time talking about and providing tools, templates, processes, and a few stories from the trenches of where we've both done it well and also where we may have made a few mistakes along the way so that you can benefit from it.
One of the things that David mentioned is very pertinent to what we're going to be talking about, which is the changes in the world we inhabit. Because one of the things, I have a phrase that I use with certain brand in the marketplace, brands don't die, they're murdered. And they're not often murdered by a shot to the head. They're murdered by the death of 1,000 cuts. Little changes that go wrong that weaken the value proposition of the brand. So part of the challenge always is to keep the brand going and keep it fitting what people need. Now in your case, you've got a double issue because you've not only got to attract people to the banners, you've got to attract people to President's Choice and other brands within the banners. And there's a large range of alternatives within the control label franchise. So how do you guide people so they actually go, I'm really concerned about my weight, so it's got to be that blue menu one, or, I'm really concerned about the ecology, so maybe I look at green. So how do we build those alternatives in to a coherent system? So the second part of what David talked about, which is consistency, because the other way brands get killed by the death of 1,000 cuts is the inconsistency. You confuse the end user and the consumer. So this will be partly about, as David mentioned, the tools and the processes to build for the future, so you go from good to great, but do it in a way that there is consistency and clarity for the end user to shop and find what they want that you've done that fits them best. And that's what we're going to do.
Exactly, Alan. What are those core processes? How do you plan the business? How do you make decisions around priorities? How do you allocate precious resources to make sure that that brand is being developed, positioned, marketed well in the marketplace, but to do it consistently? I like to say marketers are often the death of great brands. They're the first to bore. They get tired of their own efforts because they believe everything needs to be new every year. My many years in the beer world at Labatt certainly proved that out. Marketers, if they truly believe in these systems and the value of a promise consistently kept, build in the processes and the information and the decision-making criteria that allow for a brand's promise to remain consistent. Don't get caught up in innovation for innovation's sake.
Absolutely. So, we're going to leave you with a question that we want you to think about as we begin to get into the process of your time. One of the things that we will engage in, this will be a very to and fro kind of process all the way. And we want you to start thinking about it. So we're going to give you 2 challenges to think about. We want you to come to the sessions, especially the first session, with some thoughts on this. So challenge number 1, David.
If you take my definition of a brand being the value of a promise consistently kept, where is our greatest challenge? Is it in our promise of our brands? We don't have the necessary information about the consumer. We don't have the right marketing tools or go-to-market strategies to deliver on that promise? Or is it the consistently kept? The way we manage the brands, not their promise, but the way we manage the development and the delivery of that promise. Core processes, the way we plan the business, new product development, testing, quality control. So where is it that you believe our greatest challenge lies? Is it the promise of our brands or in our ability to consistently keep it, and what's causing that?
So question number 1 is those challenges that you face. Question number 2 is, and we don't want a long list, what 2 or 3 things from your experience working in Loblaws and working within President's Choice would you do to overcome those hurdles, to overcome those challenges, to move things ahead? Now, obviously part of the solution will come out of which of the things that David suggested and others you think is the major cause for the hurdle, but some of it may be, if you like, more fundamental. You may want to look at it. Now, assume all of you will say resources, that you need more resources, so put that to one side, but what 2 or 3 things would you see as a way of improving that ability of delivering the promise consistently over time?
We look forward to working with you. We hope it is a very valuable, iterative process. We will be always accessible to you as we work through it, and we look forward to seeing you at our kickoff session.